Alright, so here we are, just a few days before the first presidential debate of 2016, and there finally is some good news out there for Hillary Clinton, whose collapsing poll numbers over the last 4 or 5 weeks or so had turned this into a complete horse race. But just the other day, McClatchy Marriage put out a poll that has her up +6. NBC News has one out +6, potentially canceled out a little bit by the Rasmussen poll, which always trends high towards Trump. But regardless, Clinton is now at positive 2.1, which may not seem like much, except for the fact that just 3 days ago that was down under 1 in a virtual tie with Trump. But as we know, how things are on the national level is not necessarily the issue. The issue really is state by state Electoral College votes are the issue. And for that, we need to look at where the map stands as of today. So let's pull that up and see where we are. When we do that, you can see that in the states that are likely Clinton and which lean Clinton, she has a solid 200 in her book. Trump, on the other hand, those that are likely Trump or lean Trump or solidly Trump, he's got 164 in his book. But that leaves a whopping 174 in the middle that are toss-ups. And for us to figure out where they should go as of now, we need to look at them state by state. So let's take a quick lunchtime tour around the country, starting with this tiny district here in Maine. And as many people may know or may not know, Maine is a little bit different in that they do not do winner take all. They will award them by district. And what we will do in all these, for the most part, is we will look at the four-way race and see where the average is there, since that is probably likely the outcome in terms of who will be on the ballot. You can see that Obama won this heavily, but surprisingly Trump has a huge lead in this area of Maine. This shows the significant support Trump has compared to where Romney was in 2012, or vice versa, the lesser support that Clinton has versus where Obama was. And you're going to see that consistently throughout this tour around the country. But for now, we are going to put that solidly into the Republican category. Moving over to New Hampshire, this is a state that in 2012 and 2008, this was an Obama state with a little bit less support, which again you're going to see almost everywhere, that Obama didn't win as heavily in 2008 as he did before. But here this remains solidly Clinton, on par with where Obama was in 12. So we are going to give this to Miss Clinton. Moving over to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a state that Obama won fairly easily in 2008, maintained a fairly significant lead in 2012, and it's basically the same thing for Clinton right now. There are some people that believe Trump has a chance in Pennsylvania. It sure doesn't look that way now. Things could change, obviously, but for now we are going to give this solidly, or at least likely, to Hillary. Moving down to Virginia. In Virginia, this is a state that Obama won. It got a little closer in 2012, but wasn't necessarily in jeopardy. Here, Clinton is actually doing a lot better than Obama did in 2012. This is a good sign for Hillary and not really a good sign for Trump. Just to show you that, for the most part, the lead doesn't change much between four-way races and two-way races. The idea that somehow Johnson is stealing votes away from Trump and that makes Hillary the winner or vice versa isn't really the case. He seems to be taken equally from both, but again, we're going to maintain the four-way race RCP averages. Here, Clinton has that solid lead, and again, we're going to give this to Miss Hillary. She's starting to move up the ladder, moving across to Michigan. In Michigan, this is a state that Obama won real easy in 2008, real easy in 2012. Here Clinton has a comfortable lead, but as you can see, her level of support that she's getting versus Obama is not where he was. Again, that's kind of consistent what you're going to see throughout this tour. But regardless, it doesn't matter if it's a big lead or just a little lead. she gets the whole pot. So we are going to move that into her column. Moving along to Wisconsin. This is another state that Obama won handily. Again, not by as much in 2012, but that is by no sense a close race. And when we pull up the four-way race, as you can see, the numbers are essentially the same. Maybe a slight tick up for Clinton. And again, this is a state that for now is going to be solidly into Hillary's column, and she is only 7 away from the magic number of 270. So let's move down to North Carolina. In North Carolina, this is a state that back in 2008, Obama barely won. Romney flipped it in 2012. There is only a three-way race right now in North Carolina because Stein, as of right now, is not on the ballot, or at least has not been polled. And what you can see here is interesting. This is a clear switch toward Trump. This has just happened over the last week and a half or so. This had been a Clinton lead for a while throughout the summer months. It started to get close, and now, bam, you are seeing Trump move up consistently higher and higher. And if this trend continues, especially with Romney winning in 2012, this looks like this is going to lean Republican. Moving down to Georgia. Georgia typically is a red state, and again, only a three-way poll here, as we don't have any data yet for Stein on the ballot. But regardless, McCain won this, Romney won this, Trump is winning this, whether it's a three-way race or a two-way race, and we are going to leave this solidly Republican. Going down to the crazy state of Florida, which has always been such an issue, and this year doesn't look to be any different. This one, Obama won barely in 2008, skirted by in 2012, and it looks like it's going to be another up and down battle in 2016. It has gone back and forth all summer. As of right now, other than this one Monmouth poll, which has Clinton up at +5, and Monmouth always polls her high, this is definitely trending towards Trump. This has recently switched to a Trump lead, and this is probably a little bit higher than 0.1, but regardless, it, per our rules, is going to go leaning Republican. Coming over to Iowa, this was a state earlier in the summer that a lot of people actually didn't believe that Trump had much of a chance, and interestingly, his battle with Kasich probably wasn't something that was going to help. This is one that Obama had won in the last 2 years, or 2 races, that is. And here you can see a huge switch back to Trump. And the only reason this is at 2.5 is because of this one outlier of a +7 for Clinton. You take that out, this number is probably almost up to a 4-point lead. That's a significant switch. So then, what we're looking at is this is going to lean Republican. Then we go to Iowa. Iowa is a state here that Obama won easily, and this is quite an interesting switch, because when you look at the four-way race here, this is huge going towards Trump. When you look at a 9-point lead and a 5.8 lead, and now you have a 6-point swing, this is almost a 12, 13-point swing towards the other way. And this is now going to go leaning Republican. Moving over to Arizona, this one is a state that has been solidly red for a while. There is not that big of a lead here for Trump, although there is a lead. And this is a little concerning for Trump. This is one that most people think he should win, and he probably will, but it's not a landslide by any sense. But for now, we will put that in his column. Moving it over to Nevada. Nevada is a case that Obama, the state that Nevada went to Obama fairly easily. Again, we only have a 3-way race for now. There's no Stein polling in it, and I'm not sure if she's on the ballot or not. But this has clearly turned towards Trump, and this has not been the case over the course of the summer. This was definitely in Clinton's bag for a while. This has switched, and for now, Trump appears to have turned the state. And at that point, if we do that, he now has a 266 to 263 lead, leading just us with Colorado. We open up Colorado, and what do we see? We see that This is one that Obama won easily in 2008 and 2012. And Clinton does have the lead here. But there is a recent poll by Emerson that has Trump at +4. This one typically trends towards Trump high. But for now, this looks like it is heading towards Clinton. And with that said, giving her that state, bang, she's at 272, and we have President Hillary Clinton. The last thing that we haven't addressed is New Mexico. And in New Mexico, this is the one state where there had not been a poll for a long time, and Johnson was at 14. This was the state where he's the governor, and if there was any state that he could have flipped, this might have been it. We've been waiting for a while to see if there is a new poll that came out, and one, in fact, did just come out about a month ago. Again, this has Johnson up just a little bit, but we haven't seen anything in the last month. Assuming this switched slightly, it doesn't take as much in a four-way race. If he can take 5 or 6 from Clinton, 5 or 6 from Trump, all of a sudden he's up at close to 30. They're at like 35, and he's at 26, and it could be a horse race. Assuming he could somehow flip this, and we move this into his column, and look what happens. 266 for Trump, 267 for Clinton, and the House of Representatives picks our president. So that's where we stand a few days before the debate. We'll see what happens afterwards.